Today is going to be a continuation video of finishing up on this trailer project that started a couple of weeks ago. Now I'm going to be putting the lights. A couple of them are new, like this one. And I'm just going to be installing them, and I'm going to show how the wiring also gets put on. To put these, you got to remove them first from the rubber grommet type thing here they got. And then you slide the light in. That's going to be impossible to get it in. And then I'll also show from a different angle when I start doing the electrical. So here goes this grommet, which these things don't usually go in easily. So you gotta force it and play with it. Hence why you can't put it with the light on unless you have a very manufacturer made a very extra big hole or something, but I don't see it. I never had the luck to be able to put it in all together. It's always like this. To take it out, the same thing. Push the light through first and then take out this grommet. And especially, it gets more hard when the metal is not flat. When it's been hit and it's curved. Let me see if I could show you a little zoom there. But as you can see, even this side, it's not perfectly flat. So that adds to the problem always. But this one is on. And on top of that, this is a new one. This is one of the ones that I'm replacing new because the other one was out. So imagine with the older ones that sometimes are more stiff. And then we're gonna try it now. Let me see if this one. Should actually take the cable out, make it easier to put on. This one, because it's bent, is extra difficult. I might have to heat it up a little bit with the heat gun to make it more pliable. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit easier, and I got this lube that is for, like, actually for the pools when you're gonna put in the basket, on the strainer on the pump, so the water doesn't leak. It's type of like a lube, but that is made specifically for these rubber type seals. Not for this one, but for the pool. So I figured it's gonna make it a little bit more slippery here, but yet not cause me a problem that's gonna fall off later on because, again, it's meant for the pool seals. So let's give it a try because, man, that one being bent, I could already, a few seconds of trying, I could already tell it's gonna be a struggle to put it in. And I've already had straightened that out as much as I could without spending a whole lot of time with it. Because it definitely could be more straight than that. But how much time did I want to dedicate to it? That is the thing. Well, sure is going in a little bit. So I'm gonna avoid whatever I gotta do to not have to straighten that piece of metal out anymore. So let's see. Of course, I'm not giving it 100% force because I definitely don't want to crack this plastic either. Now this, I noticed that it's kind of sharp at the edge. So what I'm gonna do, because also to add insult to injury, these things are not made perfectly here. So here's what I'm gonna do. And I've never done this before, but let's give this a try. I'll come over here to this sanding belt. And I'm just gonna take away some of this edge, not all of it, but the one that I know that is like from manufacturing, like a little burr that stays there. That might substantially help it go in. Normally that wouldn't really matter if that, orifice there of the metal was perfect. But because it's wavy, it loses its actual real diameter, So let's give this idea a try. I'm going very little by little because I don't want to eat too much of it either, because that's what holds it in place at the back also. So now I've taken off a little bit, and let's go back over here and put this in place. And let's see how much help that would do. Because again, I took off very little. Was it enough? And then I went in too much at the bottom. I gotta go a little by little here. No, that went in too much on that side now. One break. All right, and I'm back. Let's continue on and see if I don't have to take off some more. Try the top first, because this curve here is kind of weird. Maybe makes a difference. Let's see how perfect that would go. I wish this could come in from the back. It will solve me problems. I've never tried it. What? I've never even tried it from the back, and look at this. Because you can't usually put it from the back because it's closed in most applications. But if it works now, it works. Let's give it a try. That definitely put the bottom first and that one in, but that'd be too difficult for me to get to the top. So let me do the top first. There it goes. The top went in. Oh, that worked out, and that is a first to do it from the back side. So this is a used one. Let's see how this one works out, because this rubber is also more deformed and a little bit stiffer, and this is also messed up. It's not perfectly round because of the deformation of getting banged up. Let me clean this up here. Even the dirt's gonna be in my way when it comes time to push that through. But regardless, be back in a second. I'm gonna go take a little lunch break. Okay, back from lunch. Let's see if this one will go in through the back also and make my life easier, because the design is a little bit different on this rubber grommet type thing. Again, they make these to where it makes it so much harder. Let me take a look here real quick without moving the camera. If I could just go fast and remove a little bit of this edge just to see if it could go in, because man, it just has I guess you could say the defect of manufacturing that makes it that much harder. See how this one goes in by the front? That other one's kind of weird. The fact that it even went in through the back that easily, but not through the front. All right, so that's that. And then let's see about plugging these things in here. There's some that I'm gonna have to, I think, solder some ends to it. But this one, so I'm not gonna have to use these if they're identical to plug, which they should be. At least the majority of them are the same always. But on the back, I know there's some like the ground that is bad, and I'll have to do some soldering because I don't crimp. Anybody that's watched any other videos knows that I crimp. I don't like crimping because there could be failure coming down the line. So I like to solder it. So now I'm gonna plug these in, which is just basically plugging this. I'm not gonna move the camera for that, but when I do the soldering and all that, and you know, doing any other type of fix, there I will show you what I am doing. Here's just trying to find it because it's in this cavity here, so it makes it a little bit harder to get to. Let me see which one will go in here better. You know what? This one came in so easy, I'm just gonna take it out and plug it in first because it's kind of hard to get it in back there. This one went in very easily. Incredibly. But this other one, I'm gonna put it right there. Plus I can access it better because it's on the side. So, perfecto. Now to test that out, since it's the first one, I'm gonna use my box that I have a video on it also, maybe about a month ago or something. And this is instead of having to plug in to the trailer, the trailer to a truck, I can just plug it into here. But let me put a battery for it because obviously that runs off a 12-volt battery. So it's a little thing that you have switches on and it controls all the lights here, the brakes, turn signals. They sell them already done. I put a link on the bottom for it, but mine, because it's homemade, I put it to work with a 12-volt Milwaukee battery. And it's a bunch of, let me show it real quick. These are just adapters I got here, but it's basically battery. I just stuck it in there, and as you can see, there's a bunch of cables and for the whole setup, and with fuses for each thing. So there's a problem, and resettable fuses that they don't blow. They just the way I have it in there, they're the ones that when it heats up, they trip almost like a breaker, and then you can reset it. So now here, for example, L's for left, R's for right. As you can see here, so T's for taillights. So that should turn on with taillights. And one did, and the other one did not. So let's see why did that one not work. Oh, this is even though the plug lets you put it in either way, it has to be in a certain orientation. So as you can see, this is the new one. See how bright that is? And that's why I put it on the side, because I want the brighter one on the side. Those are the ones I just purchased. Now let's go ahead and turn that off. And let's continue on to do the other ones. Let's come over here. And that's another project right there for a pump to go to the pond and be able to pump water out if I need to for something. That I just got it running, had it stopped for a long time, but now I gotta go to like store and buy the thick, rigid hose that actually I can put for the intake. I wonder if this one will let me do everything together. Nah, of course not. Let me push it out. You know what? For the sake of super visibility, maybe I should put another new one here and just save that old one. Maybe. Let me see. Let me think about it while I do this. Again, this one's bent too. And it's starting to get chilly today. Sun went down and the temperature is starting to chill. Before I put it in, oh, my bad. Before I put it in, let me go ahead and make sure that I'm putting it in the right orientation. Now that I know that these are sensitive to orientation. So what I love about this box, I don't need to have a truck here. They're not super, I made this one homemade, but it's not worth it. It's a lot of hours. I want to say I spent like 6 hours playing with that to get it to get to that point to make it. So some things are worth doing, some things are not, and the things are like 180 bucks. So it's not worth spending a whole day working for something that costs 180. Think about it. I mean, you could just work a day, an easier job, and actually make more money than that. So I don't recommend it. Hold on, this is maybe one that's missing the ground because nothing is happening. Yep, that's exactly it. That's why it wasn't working. So let me fix the ground on that. And yeah, there was some that had problems with the ground. Here it is. All right, let me get some tools and some soldering stuff and piece of wire and a little terminal for there and my jacket because it's starting to get chilly over here. There's no need to be uncomfortable. Let me get a piece of white cable. Some wire, some terminals. Actually, I'm gonna get one at a time because I don't know how many I'm gonna need. So where are you? I'll go with this blue one. And we're gonna need to, now that I got the terminal, get just the soldering stuff, but let me put this over here and move the camera because I don't need to be so low. One thing is that I haven't put any music here, a little bit of music, because it's getting a little boring. As far as noises, it's too silent. Let me see now the flux. I need a lighter. I think I got one in the four-wheeler here. The little torch. Yep. Because I soldered with a torch. Okay, it's the best thing on the go. You can do it anywhere, even outside in the farm or something. You don't need to worry about electricity. It's so much faster. Let's go right here. Let's get ready. Let me see if the image is good. And there we go. Okay. So apparently, this is one of the ones that I remembered when I took this apart. The reason it was all taken apart was to be able to at least paint these sections that were kind of rusted out. So here we go, the 2 grounds. So I love this. I'll put a link to this also. So I'll link that that box to check for power. And this that is my favorite stripper because they sell some that have little holes and you pull through, but you gotta do a lot of force with your 2 hands pulling outwards. And then there's another one that actually has the little holes and kind of opens up like that, but you have to pick one hole. These you don't pick anything. You just put it in there and it automatically adjusts. So these by far, in my opinion, the best. So I'm gonna come right here. I'll connect this to that. Let me get a little piece, maybe this long, to put the wire. And this one here, which is gonna go right in there. Then I'm gonna take this cover off because I'm gonna solder it too. And since it's ground, it doesn't matter if it touches anything else. So it's not like I'm worried about protecting this at all. So I'll show you what I do here because I don't rely on crimping 100%. So everything that I do, I actually solder, right? Let me do this one a little bit longer because I don't want the plastic to melt into my solder. All right. Now I'm gonna get, I forgot, a little shrink wrap for there, the pliers, to be able to squeeze that together. Some of the little, not shrink wrap, but these protectors, I forgot the name of it now. I'll figure it out later and tell you. This, but it shrinks around the wherever you solder something to protect it. There we go. So I'll put this in here. Ooh, yep. Let me show it close up here. It's kind of hard to do it. Trying to show the camera. Let me see. I'm gonna squeeze it again here. But that is just a regular crimping. And now I'm gonna solder it the same way. And I'm gonna solder the other side. So here we go. You put this through first, because not later, obviously you can't get it in. We're gonna connect these. Let me see if I should zoom in so you can see it better. There we go. Let's go here and show this soldering here. So I'm fraying them so that I can now twist them all together. And it'll hold in place so I can solder it. You see? I'm gonna use always a tool to kind of put it in a position where it doesn't fall off. There we go. Put some of this flux, because if not, the solder will run. This is basically gonna be cleaning it. You can tell it's cold because it doesn't even want to come out. There we go. It's kind of thick. Normally it's more runny. Also, when it's cold, another issue is with these little torches, which is happening right now. You know? I heat it up maybe about 10 seconds. And then I start dipping it to see if it pulls it. And once I see it pulling it, then you're good. See, it's just falling right now, so it ain't ready. And the reason I do 10 seconds because if the temperature is hotter, it'll immediately work. It's just that right now it's kind of cold, so it probably need to look like even over 20 seconds. This cold is not helping at all. It's not helping at all, and it was delaying that. Normally that would have been soldered already. So it is affecting me. Then the cold affects the painting, it affects a lot of things. Those people that do like things in really cold, really cold weather, like gold mining and all that, no wonder they struggle so much. Look at that, the lighter doesn't even want to turn on. And there's almost no wind here, so it's not like you could blame it on the wind. There we go. It's not catching. Wow, this cold is really messing me up now. Incredible. The fact that the lighter has an issue says a lot. I'm gonna have to go and get something else and do it with the actual soldering iron then. Because this should have just sucked it up the minute I put heat on it. Like now, see? Perfect. That took a while. Now, this will go over it. And then I'll heat it and it'll shrink into it. Now let me try this part here. See how much of a hard time it wants to give me. I have a little corner here that stays sticking out. Let me try it with this without actual cutting it. There we go. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and solder this terminal to it. Oh man, again, come on. At least that's only happened to me when it's cold, and this is why it's happening again. Normally this is again 10 seconds and you can start dipping and it'll suck it right into the wire like this. Perfect. See, no problems now. Oh, let me heat up this and shrink it. Oh man. That's good enough. Remember, this is even ground that can touch anything because it doesn't matter. It's ground. It could touch anything there in the ground against any piece of metal there. So it's not a concern. Have to cut that piece off because then this one comes into here. And because now the cable was shorter, it was in my way. Okay, now I'll get a little zip tie for here and one for here. And that'll be that. We just gotta then after that, put a screw and ground it to the chassis of the trailer there. So that will be the next step, to screw that terminal to the trailer so I could have ground. But before we do that, let's zip tie this. So, because this little cover opens up. Now, where was this connected to? I see it. I had a welded bolt in here, which feels like a 10, possibly, but it's rusted. So I wonder if it's gonna want to snap when I try to unscrew it and break. Well, we'll give it a try. If not, we're gonna have to put another one, but we're gonna try to use that one. Let's see if he wants to mess around. But if it does mess around, I guess we'll find out. Worst case scenario, we put another one. What the heck? This battery's dead. So another battery. Let's go. Let's see if it's a 10 or not. Nope. Looks like an 11. Yep, I knew it was going to break. I saw it so rusty. That I kind of felt that it was going to break off. There it goes. Damn, I should have been wearing gloves. Look, it even had a washer there. So that was that. I guess we got to put our own now, but before we do that, let me think about the best spot. Right there. And let me get a little bolt that's going to go through here. Now, normally people just put a self-tap and hold these with a self-tap. But I'm, of course, not going to do that. I'm going to actually weld the bolt to it. Which means that just complicated a little bit itself. But the problem with the self-tap is kind of like the same concept of crimping versus soldering. Self-taps usually will give you problems. Eventually there'll be a bad connection. Eventually there'll be a bad connection and you start losing your ground and then your lights go out. So we're gonna go with the bolt, which is physically, welded to, and not just doing connection based on a thread that is holding on to and then have corrosion in it. Now, I'll get me, the bolt is gonna go there, and the nut. But I'm gonna use also a nut that is locking nut for the bolt. So I'm gonna go ahead and weld this right in there. That way, and this is an 11, perfect, fits right in there. Now, to hold that and weld it, what I'm gonna do is get me some needle nose pliers and hold that bolt with it. It's probably the easiest way to do it, and I'll then hold the ground to the actual needle nose pliers. It just doesn't stop. The welder has to keep on coming out. Let's go. Let's go. So the welder's on. I'm unraveling this. I'm staying zoomed in there so you can kind of see somewhat what I'm doing. But basically, I'm going to ground to the actual pliers and hold with the pliers the bolt where I want it. You see, now I could go like that. Of course, I could grind off somewhere on the trailer and then use that as a ground. But I might as well just take advantage of this and put it right here. Boom. You get some gloves. So I don't burn myself. And that'll be on in a second. And I think there might be one more of all these lights in the same predicament that I'm gonna have to weld a ground if it breaks off. Because there's another one that, if I recall, I think there was 2 in total that there was ground issues, which is the most common problem when you have problem with the lights on your trailer. Everybody always thinks it's like no power getting there. Man, like, I want to say 7 or 8 times out of 10, it's a bad ground. And sometimes they're hard to locate where the problem is at, where it broke. So, yeah, that's a problem. A very known, common problem. But I'm going to be in the way here for a second. Let me get this situated here. Trying to find a good position here to put this bolt. Now I can let it go with one hand and able to do this better. Yep, that looks perfect. It looks good. Let me see. I hook up the ground right there. Look at this. The actual power here. Look. Perfect example of why I solder things. Let me zoom in some more. So it's just moving it around. You saw there was no pressure, nothing that I did to it. So the wire that brings the power in, just right at the crimp location, broke off. Problem is, on these crimp areas, one of the reasons for failure, first of all, it could be corrosion when something's crimped because nothing's doing real good contact, but then it stays with moisture in there, and eventually it rusts out that piece of wire, which is probably what happened here. So now that, and I hadn't even paid attention to it, not I would have just corrected it, but doing a video here showing you what I'm doing with what I saw broken and didn't even realize that, that crimp was there, that I should have replaced it from the get-go. So we'll do it now. But perfect example. The fact that it happened right there. If you go back on the video, you'll see I'm just moving the wire around and this just went. Oh man, and look also. Yes, and that's exactly what was happening. Water in there because look at the cable how it is. Look at this dust. It's rusted there from water accumulating. Let me zoom in some more, and maybe you'll be able to see the dust as I flicker it off. And it's actually white here at the tip. So I'm gonna have to cut back some more to get a better piece. Cut back here too on this. And that's what those. So even all the way back here, look, still bad. Hence why I hate crimping. I mean, I keep on going, I'm gonna have to change the whole wire to the front. Okay, that was good. So you see there's about almost 2 inches worth of wire that were compromised due to our situation there with the moisture because of using one of those little connectors that you crimp. So this tool also cuts, by the way, here at the back. So it's really convenient. Let me zoom out some so, because you get the point there, what was happening. There you go, you can see the street view too. I'm gonna have to use the bigger one because these 2 cables are not gonna fit in the smaller diameter, which was like 1/8 of an inch. This was almost 1/4 inch. It's probably 3/16. This shrink tubing, I think that's what it's called, shrink tubing maybe. All right, so now let me open this up a little bit so I could twist them all together. So I could hold itself while I weld it. And again, I will use some tool to hold it here in place up here, but they stay sticking together due to me twisting them while I fray it and then twist them. Let's see how this wants to act now. All right, let's give it a lot of heat because as we know, it's cold. Maybe it's like high 40s right now, but it's messing up the weld. I need some more of this to aid in the situation we have with the cold weather. This helps it attach better the when you solder, because it cleans it. Come on, suck it in. Suck it in, suck it in. There it goes. Got so hot that the cable even gave, and that's why it wasn't rigid no more. It was a little bit soft, you see, from the heat. So that should be good enough, but let's see. Because it's not that good. It's good enough, but I don't like it when it struggles so much. Because it should have been faster. The melting and sucking into the wire. Now let's heat this up so that water does not go in there. Damn, there we go again. So cold weather does this, but then again also maybe this I'm gonna change to another one in a minute. Maybe this also lighter is a little bit more weak because you know they're all not made. You could buy a pack of these 6 of these, and some have a better torch to it, and all of them work perfect in regular weather. It's just when you go cold that some of them are not as efficient as others. But when it's really cold, none of them will work. When it's in between, like now, some of them will work better than others. But again, in warm weather, everything's perfect. I'm moving it around to see where I get it. Where there's no little wind draft, even though there's barely any wind, but any little wind draft, and then times that with cold weather, and it's a recipe for not working. All right, so now that's soldered and covered up with that shrink tubing, which is what I remembered that I think is what it's called. Now let me go and put this lock nut in there, tighten it up. And they don't even use lock nuts here never. They use regular ones. Leaking out. Let me take it off and see why it was struggling to go in. There's a flyer flying around here. Let's see here now. Battery. Perfect. Except that it's pointing down the terminal, and you could get caught up on something, branch or something. So let me take it back off real quick and put it up and then tighten it. Okay, now I can put this cover back on here that I pushed back so I could solder that stuff and not melt the cover. Okay. And I hear a truck coming. Down the street. Diesel truck. Sounds like my son's truck. But I guess not. Son went away, must have turned. Damn, this thing is not cooperating here where it needs to go. Come on. Okay, come on. Put this wire through and make sure that it's in the correct orientation. So now I know that these could need to go in a specific way. Let's try the light. Perfect. Let's push it in. Okay. And again, I said that I'm gonna put new. The side ones, I'm just gonna put them new. Might as well. Okay, got it in my hands. Taking them off of this wrapper here. Take away this little wrapping thing here too. And we're not gonna use this one. Oh wait, let me get it out of here first. Come on. Get in there. Come on, you're almost there. Come on. Come on, make it in. Make it in and come out. There we go. All right. Let's see, we got the right orientation now. Turn on the light. Nope. There we go. And again, let's do what we did with the other one. That this one actually lets you come in from the back, which was amazing. This. Let me turn off these lights while I do that. And let me turn off this welder too that left it on. Making that noise there. Okay. Now, these have to come out till they hit a certain spot there. Maybe I should take a little bit off of that like I did on the other ones. Shaving it because that last little lip, it's hard. So I do a little marking so I can know which way it goes. Down. So let me go 1 second. And do that little thing around the side here that might help me getting it in there, man. This little ledge of where they build it. When they build it, manufacture it, makes it a little bit more hard for it to slide in. And it's not, I'm not talking about the piece that's supposed to have to go into that little groove. It's just an extra like manufacturer defect that, you know, it's not a defect, it's just, you know, the termination is not like it's gonna be perfect when you're doing these things, you know. They have the little almost like sharp edge. Let me get some of this lube and see if that's what made the other one actually pop into place. Because this one's not cooperating. Let's see if this is, maybe it's just a curve of how the other one was curved. Let's see if this one comes in through the front better. Because remember, the other one had a deformation on the metal, big time. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but it was worse than this one. Oh, this is so... Making sure. I mean, my next step will be to get the heat gun and apply some heat to that, because And it's only happening in these front ones because they've been all bent up. Normally, yeah, you gotta push and tug a little bit, but not to this extreme where you feel like you're gonna break the plastic. Of course, it doesn't help that it's cold today because it makes all these harder to, less pliable. So that's another issue. That was the issue. So how easy, with a little bit of heat. I'm telling you, it should always be a little bit of force needed to go in there because it needs, obviously have a tight fit, but it should not have been that much of a struggle. So now I know that the cold is messing them up. I gotta heat them all up. All right, so far so good. Those two are good. These two are still perfecto. And we're gonna move on to the back. Let's see here. Bring some tools over there. Definitely the heat gun. Because we ain't struggling with that no more. Okay, so this ground is good. Let's get this little one in there. Might as well heat it up out here. Give it some heat here, and I'll probably heat it up some more later, but at least even putting it in there is gonna be easier. And of course, this one's also perfectly straight, because this is like a heavy duty big piece of structure here. Not like the one in the front that's not as heavy duty. This one holds the taillights and everything, This one's really beefed up. I've never seen on a regular, 16-foot trailer. Actually, 18-foot, this one. Such a beefy piece. This is made special. You never see it on regular trailers. Okay, let me take off this little plastic I got here. I think it goes in this orientation. If not, we'll unplug it and put it back in. Let's see if the heat alone, that little bit of heat, is gonna make that difference of it popping in or not. No, that goes some more. Why struggle when we can use a tool to help us? Say on the front wing, we had a couple of factors messing us up. The fact that it's cold weather is making the rubber hard. The fact that this was all bent up over there. So here it's straight, but still the cold weather is making that very hard. See now. Yep. Let's see how it wants to play. There he goes. Perfect. That was nice. These usually, the bigger ones are actually easier. It's kind of like on like tires. The bigger the tire, the easier they are. Believe it or not, to put on and off. Smaller tires, because the circumference is smaller, there's less pliability around the rim. So that's why semi tires can be taken off by hand easily. And then car tires use machine. But then when you go to like a lawnmower tire, really small tires, it's more of a struggle. Let's see. These normally, I just push them from the front. And they go in fairly easily. But again, I've never done them with temperature high 40s or 50s. So let's give it a little help. Because it's not fair to struggle here. So we'll put it at a good 70, 80 degrees here, where it wants to cooperate a little bit. Not yet. And this one also with this little ledge. Let me try just the ledge. Let me go step by step before I keep on giving it heat. You see, removing this little ledge, it makes that world of a difference right now. All right, let's try this now. Not even. I want to make sure this is very well seated, because that could cause a problem too. Let's give it some more heat and see. And of course, as I go, temperature's probably dropping every hour at least 1 or 2 degrees. It looks like tonight's going to be low 40s. It's already like, I want to say 4 o'clock. Almost there. Almost there. But yeah, let me see where the temperature is at. Because oh man, my finger's dirty. Won't do the fingerprint. Well, I was wrong. It's 56. Thought it'd be lower than that, but it's gonna go down by 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. It'll be 45. So 10 degrees between. It's about to be 5 and 9 in 4 hours. It'll go 10 degrees. So yeah, about 2 degrees and change an hour. That's what I'm looking at. Let me also get a little bit of that lube. I think a combination of everything is making it easier. So I guess the best advice is do this when it's 90 degrees. Because I've done it in the past in the 80s, 90s, and it's nowhere near this difficult. So that makes a world of a difference. Everything is harder with cold. But man, it's almost feels almost like if this hole shrank. You see that? I have to give it a crap load of heat. That's where I'm gonna be at. Because this needs to just, and that's what the big ones usually don't give the hard time. It's usually the smaller lights. I hope I'm not blocking too much here now. Let me move it over like this at an angle. And let me get a rag while I'm at it because my fingers got all that lube on them. When I go that way, let me take some of the stuff over there. Regardless, I gotta go. Even if I don't use it, it'll be closer over here. Oh, while I'm here also, I have a problem with this ramp. That C channel there needs a hole because it's accumulating rainwater there. And what happens is it'll rust it out. So I'm gonna make one hole. For some reason on the other one, they made a hole in the beginning, and originally somebody did. And I'm thinking, yeah, it was for the tag lights. The tag used to be in another spot. So I'll make a hole on this one before I go to the other tail light so I don't forget. Now let's heat this puppy up to the melting point. Pretty much. Because it looks like it's not gonna cooperate with slight heating. All right, let's see if this will do the trick. Come on. Damn, the whole top went in too much. Now the bottom's popped out. Now the side popped out. But it's going in like this though. I felt it as it was going in. So yeah, that heat, man. That's the savior of this whole operation here. Perfect. So now I know what this one needs. At the end of the day, it's going to be a ton of heat. What makes him cooperate. So let's see, we're gonna go around, start heating it up. I don't like to keep it in one spot also like for a long time before I move it because I'm not trying to melt this either. So you see what I did? Try it with the lube, try different things, but this, apparently in this situation, it was all about the cold weather. 50s is not good for what we can see. 60s might not be good either. I know for sure in the 80s, it's just nothing like this. It's completely different. So have a heat gun or leave these projects for the summer. You want to remove the lights to paint a trailer or something. I mean, if your light is out, you got to replace it. You got no choice. And then if it's a project that you could put for a certain time of the year, probably putting these lights on shouldn't be the one to do in December, January, February. Oh man, I don't feel it as hot as the other one yet. Remember the other one, I fooled around a lot with it before. I ended up just going around in a circle slowly. Let's see now. Yep. That did the trick. That heat ain't playing. All right, let's hook these up now. Okay. Now, look at the lights. Check them out. See if there's any problems there before I move on. So the side one I can see from here is on. And the back ones are on. Okay. Let's shut it off. And next, before I forget and leave that area there, let me get the drill. And make that hole I was talking about right there. Because I forget, and eventually I'm gonna have a rusted ramp for letting it go. Let's see if I could do it from the top here, because I think I gotta put the ramp down. I could do it if it lets me do it at an angle. Man, and I would like to do them at the corners too. Let's see if it lets me do it at an angle. And it doesn't walk on me. Yeah. Let me see with the ramp down. I don't know if I have space here to put the ramp down. Because of the ramp down, I could get it from the other side. Let's see. Said the blind man. See all that water that came out right there? That's what I'm talking about. And no. At least that side I won't get to with that spring in the way. No, just as bad. Worst case scenario, we can't get the drill in there. I have to torch a hole. The problems that the problem I'm having here, I stuttered there, is that being at an angle, the drill won't eat right. The drill bit is kind of wanting to walk on you, you know? So it takes longer to, oh, there you go, they got it. And out of battery. It's got a bigger battery now because can't be stopping every time the battery want to die. But it caught it. It's not gonna walk anymore. It's going in. Put more torque on this. Put it to drill actually, because it was on the function with the clutch. That one over here would be nice. Damn it. Just being at an angle, it gets caught up in a position that it locks up. So I can't push hard down. There he goes, or it gets stuck. And make one more on this other one here. I see if the other one, yeah, you can still see it on the video. Got one in the middle, but I'll do one here on the side. Let me do it with the clutch at a high setting. That way it doesn't slam my hand if it gets caught up again. Still slammed it a little bit, but not as bad. All right. That was that. And we're almost done because all I need is the lights on one more side, which is the left tail light. So let's move on. Let's move on right here. Hold on, let me tighten this up on the tripod. And we're good. Let me bring my little bench, seat, and the life-saving heat gun that we're gonna need, as we know. me see if I go a little bit higher here. Okay. Let's get this one out of here. Damn. Got, I guess a couple of temperatures changing made it already even harder. This is incredible because the other ones popped out when I started doing them. And the sun is almost gone. Let's see if I finish this today. Come on. Yeah, softer, but I gotta do this side now. The front side, back side got soft, but the front side wasn't. There it goes. All right, let's put this in here while it's still nice and warm, so I don't have to heat it up that much more now to get this in. I wonder it was a lot of heat if it actually coming through the front how it's supposed to. Oh yeah. You see, it's all about that heat. For some reason, these let you come in from the back, which the other ones don't, because the lip kind of like doesn't allow you to go that. Yeah. Going through that side, but you live and you learn. Things are so difficult to put when you're not looking because they kind of push themselves apart. The two little round things, they don't just go straight like into the two holes. They kind of mess around a little bit. That's why you see a little bit of a struggle there. Let's see if I got that one in the right direction now. Orientation, I gotta pull it out and put it again. Getting the dust out of the perimeter there. Let's see how this one cooperates now. We have them both in there already. And I'll heat them up. Actually, you know what? Maybe these are softer. You never know, because it could also be that these used ones are a little bit, you know, one is more old than the other one, and one might cooperate more than the other one. So let's see. No way, you could tell that the rubber's hitting and not even letting it move around. giving it a lot of heat. Just, I don't want to go back and forth a bunch of times. So I'm trying to do it one shot or maybe two, but not 4 or 5 attempts. And my neighbor's pulling up next door. Come on. I wish you could just hit this with a hammer or something. It's almost there. Now I'm getting hot. The thing is, this heat down here making all this heat. And it's crazy because the temperature is going down. And it takes a while also to heat up because this heat gun being, you know, battery operated, it's nothing like the Milwaukee one that you connect to, you know, 120 volt. That one heats up probably 3 times faster than this one. But, you know, for little projects like this, it's better not to have to be taking out the wired one. Look at this one. Wants to play games. And I keep on doing it this because, remember, there's a slot that it has to fall in, and if it comes out of it, then it won't have that's be in the spot where it lets you slide in. So if it was the electric heat gun, you know, not this battery operated one, but the one with the connected to the 120, there's no way you'd be able to hold it this long, this close. You'd be melting that rubber there. If I would have known I was going to take this long with the heat gun, I would have brought the other one, but I thought I was just going to have to use it very little. Let me try this other light fixture. I only like to use this little heat gun when it's simple little things. Not something that consumes so much time. Another thing is that I hate is this little edge that they leave on these lights. Let me take it off, a little bit of it. Because I know that creates that, it's like a burr that it has on the edge. And then you have this already giving problems because it's cold, and this is an old rubber. All of that put together starts creating more issues. For this project, eventually I'll paint the whole trailer. Here I was just trying to paint the areas that has some superficial rust to protect it, you know, or at least substantial superficial rust. I definitely didn't want to take out all those DOT markings stickers because they're a pain in the butt to remove. To replace them, you just take the other one new, but to remove those, when you start peeling them, they break into pieces. That's why I didn't want to paint that bottom part. It wasn't as bad as the top or here, you know, parts that were getting scratched up. For some reason there, they had some, you know, some rust there. And then obviously the top part. Kind of like here, even though it's, I don't know if you see it on the video, but even though it's the top, it gets rust. I don't know. But anyways, let me get the other one. I'm just gonna shave off a little bit off of it too. I think water kind of drip down, it would stay there. Humidity dangling there or something. Now for the last one. And then I'm gonna do a walk around the trailer. You can see how the lights look. It's actually getting dark outside now, so it's perfect. I turn off the lights in here and you can see how good the visibility is with this, all these lights on it. Wow. It's going kind of slow on purpose to see if I can get this over with, and started seeing smoke coming out of there. That was crazy. Not plastic. Yeah, look, see? Perfect. Got it. Now, let's plug these in. These tapes that you see that I put it on the connector, so when I paint it, I didn't accidentally pour some paint on them or something. So now to see the corner one, I put it right, because these you can't go wrong. It's a 3-pin one. But the side marker one is the one that it could be put into 2 different positions, and one that would not, this one, that would not give it power the right way, because, you know, you got to be the negative with the negative and positive with the positive, but they're made in a position that either way will fit. All right. So I did not get lucky. And it's the wrong way. So which sucks, because these are a pain in the butt to put in and out, and now it's in a position. But the other light is kind of in my way. Perfect. Let's do a walk around, and then with the lights off, so you can see what it would look like at night. There's 4 little bulbs almost out inside, but that doesn't matter. That one's not even required. I already got more lights than almost anybody would. Most people don't have all these redundant ones in the front there. So let's go lights off. Even though there's still some light outside, you'll have a better idea what this would look like. Again, the side ones are brighter because those are the new ones. This is my unit there. And here's outside what it looks like. See, getting dark. So here's the same thing. The side one's brighter because it's new. Right there. 2 lights. I'll put the blinkers on now. I have everything set up here with different buttons to do different things. So this would be left turn blinker, right turn. So now, come check it out here at the back. Oh, hold on. What happened there? Okay. I forgot. The way I have it set up, I have to turn off the actual other switch. Okay. So there you go. You see how that came out. Let's go back here, put some lights on. And here's how my unit works when the power is on, the main power, that turns on. See, turned it off. And then this tells me what I have on this one. Except this one I have to put a big switch because this is an invention. It's not like the original one. It's homemade. So this is for the electric brakes. So I put EB. And it melts these little switches internal because the amount of amperage going through it. And this is for the pin that goes for constant 12 volts. So when you have inside a trailer, like an enclosed trailer, like a light, and this is for backup lights, which almost nobody has or uses. But I still put the option there in case the trailer has it that I need to check. Okay, so that'll be it for this video. I'll catch you on the next one.